remember that all things being equal, the SAT prefers concise sentences to long, wordy, and awkward ones. And that's more an issue of style really than grammar. So SAT generally is testing grammar rules, but style does come in. And one of the most important ways it comes in is wordiness, and that's the major kind of stylistic error. So generally, when you're looking at improving sentences and even maybe occasionally error IDs, if there's a choice that seems overly wordy, even if it's grammatically correct, if we can find a choice that says the same thing in a shorter sentence in a smaller number of words, is generally preferable to the original. Let's look at some examples of some wordy sentences. The subject is being hard to study. Okay, the subject is being hard to study. So notice we would rather just say the subject is hard to study. Being generally is a word that's used to create fragments, and for wordiness, here it's being used to make a wordy sentence. It's completely unnecessary to have it here. All we have to say is the subject is hard to study. I wrote the essay with my purpose to be the releasing of the prisoners. So notice I wrote the essay with my purpose to be is a kind of a wordy way to make this connection between these two parts. So we could, in theory, and now, by the way, there's a lot of ways to fix these. This is just, I'm going to just show you one of the ways. The point is that the way I fix it does make it shorter and more concise. If you can find a way that does it in a better way or in a just as good way, that's fine too. The point is you want to look for the choice that does this correction or does one of these kinds of corrections. I wrote the essay, maybe to help release the prisoners or something like that, or, however you like to rewrite it, just to show that connection about why I wrote the essay. I want to begin in the participation of the league. That's a very odd way to say something like, I want to start playing in the league, maybe. I want to start, or I want to, even better, I want to participate. I want to participate in the league, right? We don't have to say, I want to begin in the participation of, ugh. During the battle, the rebels blew up the dam, and this confused the government. So here, there's kind of an issue of a dummy pronoun. Structurally, it's okay, though. The main issue here is we can get rid of the dummy pronoun and make this a less wordy sentence by rearranging it. So we could say something like, during the battle, the rebels confused the government by blowing up the dam. Or we could say, during the battle, the rebels blew up the dam and thereby confused the government. Whatever, right? In any event, that probably wouldn't be very much less wordy, but we can combine these sentences, make them less wordy, get rid of the dummy pronoun, and the SAT would prefer that kind of sentence. The men walking to their barracks, they decided to disobey the orders. So here we've got kind of a wordiness, awkward issue. We can say something, while walking to their barracks, the men decided to disobey the orders, right? So shorter, more concise way of saying what was originally said. I quit my job due to the fact that I hated my boss. Due to the fact, we can just replace with because. And actually the SAT likes using because to connect two sentences together. I quit my job because I hated my boss. The New School Club was founded by me. Okay, here we've got an example of a passive sentence, right? The New School Club, subject, verb, passive form, was founded, and here's the agent. We can just rewrite this to say, I founded the New School Club, right? Active, more to the point, the SAT would likely prefer this sentence over this, unless there was some other reason to prefer it. But generally, you're going to want the active over the passive, as I mentioned previously. We can't decide between the two business plans because each plan is different in its different target market. Notice we've got, this first part's okay. We can't decide between the two business plans because each plan is different in its different target market. A bit redundant, a bit repetitive, wordy, so we'd likely want to change this. Let's see. We can't decide between the two business plans because each plan targets a different market, right? That would be a perfectly fine way to fix the sentence. Because each plan targets a different market. Right? Says the same thing without repeating different. Because the governor vetoed the bill, the result will be the further eroding of the public safety net. Again, we wouldn't want to repeat because the government vetoed the bill, the result will be. That's just a wordy way of saying because the governor vetoed the bill, the public safety net will further erode. Right? So we're making it, I guess it's not passive, but we're making it more direct, showing more of the relationships of the parts of the sentences. We don't need this. The result will be the further eroding. Very noun-y kind of sentence. Make it more active, make it more focused on the verbs. Finally, the painter is always busy, considering that his paintings combine both beautiful aesthetics and a long-lasting nature. So a couple things going on here. Again, the painter is always busy considering that. We can just use because here. Because his paintings, SAT likes because, combine both beautiful aesthetics and a long-lasting nature. I mean, that's not terrible, but we can make it even shorter and more concise and less wordy by saying combine both beauty and, get rid of the and durability. So notice how that says the same thing with fewer words, more concise.